Hey guys, welcome to another Tucson Gospel video. I'm Betsy, and as you can tell, Christian's not here today, but we decided that I would do the video since last time he did it on his own since I was sick. Anyway, I'd like to share kind of like a personal story, and this way, I guess you'll get to know me more and kind of just my journey walking with God through life. Um, but alright, let's get started. About a year ago, I met someone who I thought was incredible, like completely amazing, and I thought I was in love, and I was really happy. I'm not gonna say that it was a bad relationship at all. Like, there are a lot of good things that came from it, but at the same time, throughout the whole thing, I felt like I was not appreciated at all. Like, and if I was, it wasn't the way I wanted to be. I always felt like I wasn't enough, and like I was kind of just the second choice, but at the same time I was also like the if I have extra time I will see you person. And you know other than that, I was happy, and I guess you could say I was kind of like obsessed. Like, that person became my priority, which is very sad because I was not theirs. And we ended up breaking up a few months ago, and I was really, really sad because that person was my priority, so I felt like everything had been taken away from me. And especially because it was a few weeks after my grandfather passed away, so it felt like everything was kind of just taken away from me at the same time. And so that really hurt me, and it really kind of just broke me, honestly. Like, there were days I didn't want to get out of bed. I was just so sad. I stopped going to school as well. I just felt really sad. Like, honestly, there's no other way to explain it. I was just sad. And there was a moment when that person actually told me, you know, if you cut your hair, I'm gonna break up with you. And for someone to say something like that, it's gotta be like they don't love you pretty much is what I'm saying. Because in my head I was like, but I'm more than just hair. Like, what about my personality or my face? Like, am I not pretty? Or am I not enough? Am I not funny? Am I boring? And that kind of just, like, I never said anything about it because, again, I was scared that that person would break up with me. I was just like trying to become perfect so they would love me. And so I just never said anything. And we ended up breaking up, and like I said, I was really sad, and I was kind of depressed. Like, I didn't even want to go out with my friends, honestly. Like, they would invite me everywhere, and I'd just be like, no. But then I slowly started realizing that that person is not the person for me, because I still kept in contact with them, but I noticed the little things that kind of bothered me, and I was like, okay, at least I don't have to deal with that anymore. And that person is kind of didn't care about the little things, which mean a lot to me. Like, honestly, that's what matters to me, because I feel like we live day by day, because tomorrow is really never promised. And if you kind of take today for granted, like all the little stuff in today, then honestly the big stuff later doesn't mean anything, because like, who are you going to share that with? And you're not going to have all those little stuff to remember that kind of took you to the big stuff. And so I kind of decided that since I was so down, I would give church a try. And I was like, alright, let's go to church. I was honestly not expecting anything at all. I was just expecting to go and sit there and just be like, alright, oh, this is cool music. And then, oh, the pastor's talking. Alright, time to go. But honestly, I got there and I didn't want it to end. I was really happy. Like, I felt like I belonged, and I was like, wow, this message is for me when the pastor started speaking. And that kind of helped me. But at the same time, I felt like something bad was going to happen. And it did. I was actually raped a few days after I started going to church, and that hit me hard. That was definitely one of those things that just kind of messed me up, honestly. But I kind of looked at myself and I thought, you know what? I can either let this be one of those things that pushes me away from church again and just leave and continue living my life like the way I was, or I can keep going to church and ask God to heal me and fix me, because I am broken. And I decided to keep going to church. It was really hard because I would see people and I just didn't even want to talk to them. Like, I just wanted to be alone. But at the same time, I didn't want to be in my room alone because I knew that, you know, the devil works in weird ways, and he's gonna, find some way to make me sad, and I'm gonna turn to bad things. And so I decided to just keep going to church, and that helped me a lot. I just kind of figured to make God my priority, because a man was not gonna know how valuable I am. And that kind of leads me to that story. I feel like everybody knows this already, but it's like, if you have a perfectly brand new $20 bill and you find it on the ground, you'd pick it up the same way as if you saw a crumbled up $20 bill. Only because you know how much it's worth. Like, it doesn't matter how the bill looks like, it can buy you the same amount of things, and it has the same value no matter what it looks like. And I feel like people's hearts are that way. Like, no matter how broken it is, God still wants it. God still wants to find a way to fix it. He wants you to let him fix it. And it's just that we're sometimes too stubborn to do that. And kind of how in the Song of Solomon, he says, "You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you." And I feel like, he's talking about his wife, but that's how God kind of sees us as a church and as individuals. He sees us as, amazing, no matter what life has made us go through. And he still wants us. And I feel like when you do look for someone to be in a relationship with, that's what you have to look for. For someone to be so in love with you that they don't see your flaws. And if they do see your flaws, they don't see them as flaws. They see them as just something else that makes you amazing. And so when all this stuff happened a few months ago, I was really sad, but I started going to church, and it was just like, I was like, yeah, I'm happy now. But I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard, because that person meant so much to me. And he said, if you cut your hair, I'm gonna break up with you. What did I do? I cut my hair. Because I felt like it was empowering. I've always wanted to cut my hair this short. I've been wanting to since like forever. And I let that one person stop me, which is pretty silly if you think about it. Like, I don't know, like, why did I even let him have that kind of influence on me when I wanted to express myself in this way? And I kind of saw it as letting him go, and I'm happy with that, because I can move on and be happy. Because at first I was, drowning myself in negativity. I was suffocating myself in self-pity. And I was chaining myself to depression when all along I had the key to freedom. I was making myself feel sad because he didn't appreciate who I was, and he didn't love me for me, when I shouldn't depend on other people to love me when I love myself. So, I don't know, like, and I feel like if I hadn't connected with God in the way that I have, I wouldn't be able to say that, because I was a very sad person. I didn't think I was valuable. Like, when someone would compliment me, I'd say, like, are you okay? Like, are you sure? And now I'm just like, I own it and I say thank you. Like, I'm not, conceited or anything, but just, I accept it, because I do believe I am worthy of everything that I have and everything that I am. And if we don't hold ourselves to those standards, if we don't believe that we're truly valuable and we're truly special, then nobody else is going to think that way. If you don't love yourself, nobody's going to love you. And I feel like that's been one of the hardest lessons I've ever had to deal with, because I've always been one of those people that depend on other people, like, for my happiness, if I was alone, I'd feel sad. If nobody told me that I was pretty, I didn't believe I was pretty. And if nobody told me I was funny, I didn't think I was funny. Like, I just based what I thought of myself on what people thought of me. And I feel like it shouldn't be that way, because, God created us amazing. He took the time to create each and every one of us, and that alone should say how special you are. That should say how valuable you are, because He took time to create you. And that time alone should be enough to define how worthy you are and how valuable you are. And so I was talking to a friend earlier this week, and he was feeling the same way I felt. Like, he was really sad. He just felt like life had no meaning. And I feel like he kind of expected me to, like, have a pity party for him, just be like, oh, I'm sorry, and start crying with him, I don't know. But I kind of just asked him, if you're so sad, why do you post your problems on social media? Like, why do you just continuously do that? And he said, well, maybe that's my way of coping with it. And I kind of asked him, I was like, okay, I understand that, but if it works, if it helps you cope with how you're feeling, then how come you're never truly happy? How come you relapse? And he kind of just told me, like, alright, you have a point. And I feel like I could relate to him, because I used to do that. Like, I'd feel sad and then I'd just be like, oh, I hate life. But I kind of try to talk to him like, hey, have you considered, praying about it? And he's like, no, like, he's one of those people that kind of say they don't believe in God, but they're not very firm on that. And I told him, well, you should try it, because, like, speaking from personal experience, nothing has ever helped me feel better the way that talking to God does. Or even, honestly, just listening to a nice Christian song, like, just makes you happy. I don't know, it's soothing to me. And because with God, I've never felt like He doesn't make me happy, and I never felt like He fixes things temporarily. I feel like He's actually like a permanent solution to what I'm going through. He doesn't fix everything, He just kind of helps me get through it, because honestly, life isn't easy. Everybody has their stuff they have to deal with. But I kind of just talked to him about Jeremiah 29:11, which is, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. And honestly, I feel like that's a very reassuring thing to hear. Jeremiah is speaking to God's people, and he's saying, God has these amazing plans for you, just for you, and they're not bad, they're for your good. and they're for a future, and you should have hope because they're coming. And I feel like not a lot of us make it there because we're so sad, and because we let all these people and all these things kind of influence how we feel, that we never kind of make it to the end. You know, it's like a treasure map. We kind of go through all the little obstacles and the course and everything, but we never really make it to the end, to the X, because we let all those things break us down. So in the end, there's like really nothing to get to. But it shouldn't be that way. Like, we should know how valuable we are. We're worth a lot more than people give us credit for. No matter what you've gone through, like, I feel like I've gone through some stuff, but you know, so has the next person. So have all the other people I know, and you, honestly, everyone. So it's just a matter of letting those things define us and letting them be our only definition. Like, we can either let that be all we are, we can just be victims, or we can stand up and use those things as motivation and fuel to make a change, or to just honestly even just get up and move on. Because dwelling on those things that are just making you sad and hurting your emotions just end up hurting you in the end. Because all those other people, they're not thinking about how you feel when it's like 2 in the morning and you're sad. They don't care. And if they do, they don't care about you the same way you care about yourself. And so we just need to figure out how to move on. And I feel like God is that way. He's that path we kind of got to walk through to really truly believe that we are valuable and that we deserve a lot better. And we do, honestly. Like, you know, I thought I had found the love of my life, and I didn't. And that's just it. I didn't. You know, maybe one day I will, but it wasn't the person I thought it was. And I just had to take the good things from that situation and forget about the bad ones, because the only thing left to do is moving on. And, you know, well, it's not like he'll date me anyways. I have short hair now, so. But, just remember that you are valuable, and that no matter what has happened to you, you don't deserve to be sad, and you don't deserve to feel unwanted and unhappy. You deserve a lot more, because you're a child of God and He cares about you so much. He just wants to make you happy, and the only way He can do that is if, you know, you open up your heart and you let Him in. And He's just waiting for that opportunity. So, you know, just give Him a chance. And alright, so that's pretty much my little summary of my story, and kind of what I felt like I had to talk about. And if you haven't followed us on Instagram, please do so. It's the @Tucson Gospel. I'll probably post that, you know, down in the thing, whatever it's called. We also have a Facebook page, which we should definitely keep updating because we haven't. But you know, enjoy your week. And and also, if you are in need of prayer, or honestly just even anyone to talk to, I will post our email, so you can contact us, and we're always available to talk no matter what. And even then, if you want to just DM us on Instagram, we're always trying to be there for people. So I hope you guys have a good week, and God bless.